Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I got a few headlines here that, Lord willing, we can go through. And just getting right into it. Now, what was it? I think maybe yesterday or the day before, the U.S. Trump was saying, they built this hype around them getting ready to unleash one of the largest attacks on Iran. And then last minute, Trump so-called called it off, right? And you can see, which, I mean, by now you definitely should be able to see it, but there's obviously what's really going on, like what we call behind the scenes, and then what they're saying. And what you're witnessing is real time propaganda, narrative control, right, on a geopolitical scale, because hence the headline of this article, right, says Trump unloads on duplicitous Iran claims secret talks despite Tehran's public rejection. So, on the one hand, you have Trump that says, yes, they're talking, they want a deal, they want it badly. And then on the other hand, Iran is like, yeah, no, we didn't say all that. But more than likely, there is some form of, either through mediators, some form of them trying to do this shit again. And it's funny because it's like the Lord has that where it's like they step on the brake, they take their foot off the brake. I mean, step on the gas, take their foot off the gas, step on the gas. And that's because it's all, a matter of time, right? It's all about timing. But what they can't escape is the inevitable war that both these countries and many other countries are going to be involved in. Now, what's also interesting is we're in August, right? And once again, those oil reserves are running low. And so as we get closer and closer into the month, let's keep an eye on this, because what you'll notice Trump does is if, let's say, he gets word back that Iran is like, okay, we're willing, to talk, right? Whether it's through mediators or whatnot, he'll turn around and say, oh, they want to deal very badly. Oh, they want it bad, because he has to prop himself up to try and make it look like they have the upper hand in control, right? And who's to say that Iran isn't doing something vice versa, where, if they say, yeah, we're ready to talk, and then they publicly say, no, that's not the case. They're both trying to give an appearance of where they stand on a public scale, but then there's also things that are happening once again behind the scenes over there. So as this guy gets more and more desperate, hey, we'll see what happens right over the next 2 weeks. So the summary here says Trump claims Iran wants talks. Tehran again denies any U.S. negotiations. Trump says Gulf allies halted planned U.S. strikes in favor of diplomacy. No, it's because they were hoping, right, that with that threat, Iran would back down, and because he knows that, look, if you escalate things any further, the way the disruption that's already been caused is only going to escalate. And this time around, you won't have as much resources, if any, to be able to cushion that, right, or dilute that kind of shock that's going to hit the world. So they're desperate. Okay, their back is getting closer and closer to that wall. It says Iran says Hormuz talks with Oman are progressing, but U.S. actions remain the obstacle. Oil prices still falling on optimism over Hormuz negotiations and uptick in transit. Now, the thing about oil prices is it's not really dictated by what's really going on. It's more so about, the fears of people, right? Like what do people perceive is going on? And that drives prices up and down. And so it's easier you cannot manipulate reality. You can only manipulate people's perspectives of it. But reality is always going to be reality. If a car is red, it's red. You can try to convince somebody that it's not. You can try to convince somebody, oh, it's not what it seems like, or it's not what you think. That's not you changing reality. That's you changing somebody's mind about reality. So when they manipulate markets, they're not manipulating reality itself. It's more so how people view that. And since people can be manipulated, markets can also be manipulated because they're driven by people. Tehran is betting it can oust or outlast Trump by raising the cost of confrontation. So, once again, we'll keep our eye on it and see how it goes. But pretty sure you can tell that if it was a matter of just getting together and coming to some peace deal, I'm pretty sure they would have done that already, right? But that's not the case, and also that's not the direction of prophecy. According to prophecy, it has to continue to escalate. Even if it de-escalates, it's only doing that to escalate some more. And that's why we're back here again talking about it again. Trump blasts oil majors, get gas prices down now. See, now why so desperate, right? Why so? You went and engaged in what, a 13 or so day bombing campaign, and you wonder why prices are up, and now you're telling these oil companies to get it down now. Emphasis on that, right? It says President Trump blasted oil companies on Monday morning for high gasoline pump prices, telling them that goes for other oil companies as well. Get your consumer retail oil prices down now. Yeah, because he knows what's about to happen if they're not able to come to some solution very soon. Once again, it's only a matter of time. So they need something. They need to do something. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And it's okay. It's all right. As of Monday morning, the national average of 87 octane gasoline at the pump stood at $4 a gallon. So it went up, right? It went up a couple months back, 430 something, 450 something, 490 something. And then it dropped again. Some places down into the threes. And then it rolls back up again. It's volatile. Okay. But it's about to go up very high. Right, it says here, according to AAA data, marking the second consecutive week above the politically sensitive $4 threshold. Pump prices surged following the tit-for-tat strikes between the U.S. and Iran. So you saying get the prices down now. You realize that it's the actions of bombing them and getting in this conflict that's driving the prices up, right? Anyway, moving on to the next one here. Update here on what's going on over there in Spain. So it seems here that they're in hopes of trying to calm people down and damage control. It's you have what they call them, the Spanish authorities and leftists that are basically saying, oh, the migrants that came up in here, most of them have gone home. Most of them have gone home. You see the video of them swimming across that body of water to get over there, and then they come there for one day and then just turn around and go home. Shit. It says no, the Spanish invaders have not all just gone home. Spanish authorities and their leftist allies are pushing the line that tens of thousands of migrants who stormed Ceuta have mostly gone home. The claim is pure fantasy. Fresh video from the streets show the city still under siege, with invaders assaulting facilities, smashing graves, clashing with locals, and turning a Spanish enclave into a no-go zone. Okay, and you can see an image right there, right in front of you. But this is about to be what commonplace, right, in many different parts of the world. And it's going to lead to more and more uproars of the people, as it's written in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. Okay, so all that's really happening is the world is descending into chaos, but that's according to the timeline of biblical prophecy, because we're in the last days. Next here you have the Rhine, which is a body of water over there in Europe that's also here plunging towards record lows. You also have the Euphrates River that's also drying up. And these are all signs in the earth, right? That the Lord said he was going to show signs in the heavens above and in the earth beneath. Okay, and these are all signs that point to the great and dreadful day of the Lord. That's very quickly approaching and is going to contain a lot of damage. So it says here, logistical nightmare unfolds as Rhine plunges toward record low. The Rhine, one of Europe's most vital arteries for transporting industrial goods. So not only do you have this problem here of transporting oil and different resources already in the Middle East with the Strait of Hormuz and basically that whole region now under intense chaos, you can just put it for lack of a better word. Now you also have to deal with this. Okay. It says has fallen to one of its lowest levels since the drought-stricken summer of 2018. The resulting loss of shipping capacity is driving up freight costs and raising the risk of supply disruptions for iron ore, coal, chemicals, petroleum products, and other commodities moving through Europe's industrial heartland. Okay, so why are all these things happening? Why is it that headline after headline after headline is just not good news? Speaking of which, and it's because the Lord is bringing judgments upon the earth. In the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, it mentions that the Lord has sent plagues, right, as scourges for amendment, meaning for correction. But for all these things, they shall not, change their ways. And that's what you see going on. Even though all these things are happening, majority of people are A, not paying attention, B, don't care, or C, A and B, they're not paying attention and they don't care. Okay. And so they continue to do the same things, not realizing that it's their actions, their wicked actions, that is warranting and bringing about this time of judgment. Okay, it says here, water system hacks hit 7 states this week. FBI warns as Trump shoots down Iran theory. So according to this article, there have been some cyber attacks over the past week in varying different states affecting the water supply or the water system. And they say in some cases that they had to move to manual because, a lot of it is automated, right? Certain systems to make it easier to control certain parts of the water system they got there, because that manual labor is not easy, right? And as time goes on, to make things easier, as technology advances, they computerize things, right? So different channels are open through different commands. So instead of you having to physically move shit, you just got to operate the machinery, and then it's going to take care of the rest. But what that does is it opens it up to things like this, where it can be hacked or attacked. And that's what they're saying happened here. It says the warning lands just days after we reported that a coordinated cyber attack struck more than 30 community water systems in Minnesota over July 26th to 27th, knocking the water plant in Tiny Braham offline for a stretch, pushing Plymouth and South St. Paul onto manual operations, right? And prompting Maple Plain to declare a local state of emergency. Now, they're saying here that this is possible that this could have been, as it says, Iran-affiliated actors. Also, apparently, Trump is shooting that down. Well, of course he's going to shoot that down, right? Because that's not, at least at this point in time, that's not the kind of information he needs getting out. That, now Iran is actually, attacking U.S. infrastructure through cyber attacks, right? That's going to be real bad for them, especially with midterms coming up too. So they're under a time crunch, right? And that means they're going to have to do something quick, because they can't just keep on, well, we have a deal, we're blowing each other up. We have a deal, we're blowing each other up. Because as that continues on as it is, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. People are already feeling fatigued about it, but it's slowly but surely affecting the world. And people are looking at it and they're like, yo, you went and started something that you can't finish. And that's why, at least at this point in time, none of these other nations are like, yeah, we're quickly on our way there to come help you out against Iran. No, they're like, nah, we're not getting involved. It isn't until some one party drastically, right, escalates it to the point where it's like, okay, we have no choice but to get involved. But at that point, things are going to start to move faster. So the Lord has it, at a controlled, moving at a controlled pace and escalating at certain points in time in order to line up and link up with the order and the succession of prophecy that the Lord has set in place. So I'm going to read this real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this is why it's important, right, to stay on top of these articles and, basically what's going on around the world, right? Breaking news, paying attention to the news, because we know the signs. And so seeing how they're manifesting in the world allows us to link the two, and we can measure it, all right, and constantly stay alert, as the scriptures speak about a prudent man foreseeing the evil. Well, if he's not looking, how's he going to foresee it? He got to be paying attention. So it's important now more so than ever to pay attention, because remember that these things aren't happening on Trump's orders. They're not happening on Iran's actions. They're not happening on anything but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's go ahead. And the Lord can do that at any point in time he wants, and it can move very quickly, right? So that's why you got to continue to pay attention. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Until next time.